highlighters. If you don't like colors at all, that doesn't help you, that's fine. Your choice. All right, I'm going to use yellow, brown, pink, and green. Let's switch it up with some colors. If you want to use highlighters, you can use highlighters. If you have colored pens, pens work too. Today we have examples. It's going to go by real quick. Very exciting. Not like super, super quick, but like definitely more quicker than the last 2 days. All right, so for our first example, we have a trinomial, 8 plus 3n to the second power minus 2n to the third power and we're going to subtract, and then another trinomial. The struggle, yeah. What's happening? Alright, so in a second trinomial, we have that negative 7 plus 8n to the third power plus 7n to the second power. So make sure you have that written down before we get started on it. Does anyone remember from yesterday, why do we have those parentheses in there?
So we can identify the polynomials.
So we can identify the polynomials. So we're doing a trinomial minus a trinomial. It tells us kind of what we're starting off with. What's the original problem? Originally we're doing this polynomial minus this polynomial. Okay. Once we start, though, we don't need to worry about those parentheses, because when we add and subtract, we're just going left to right. We don't need to worry about those parentheses being there. All right, what are we going to start with? Which variable?
3.
Yeah, n to the third power. Why would we start with that one? Yeah, we have that largest exponent that's going to be in standard form. We want to start at big to small. So n to the third, I'm going to do yellow. Okay, where do we see an n to the third in this first one?
Negative 2n.
Wonderful, so good. I really love that you guys are saying negative 2n to the third. That minus changes into a negative. Where else do we see that n to the third?
8n.
Good, 8n to the third power. Hi. So we have negative 2n to the third power. Now I'm going to put that minus sign in between, minus 8n to the third power. Now if you need a calculator, that is totally okay. If you start at negative 2 and we go backwards 8, where do we really end up?
10.
Negative 10n to the third, yep. Alright, if you're using your phone calculator, please be really, really careful with how you are putting in those negatives. So we want negative 2 minus 8 is negative 10. Okay, otherwise use Desmos calculator is always a good choice. Alright, after n to the third, what's next? N to the second power. I'm going to underline those ones. So anywhere I see n to the second, I'll underline. That way it just stands out to me. So n to the second, I got that 3n to the second. Any in the second trinomial? 7n to the second. So I'm going to do 3n to the second power minus, inside minus there, 7n to the second power. So we're thinking 3 minus 7. And in our heads we can switch it around. What's 7 minus 3? 4, but since I did a small number minus a bigger number, it's going to be negative 4n to the second power. Alright, next should be n's. Do you see any n's in our problem?
Nope.
No. So do I even have to have a space for my n's?
No.
No. So what's going to come last?
Constants.
Constants. Numbers without variables. And I'll do those with pink, and I'm going to box them. So where are my constants? Which numbers? 8, negative 7. Now yesterday I noticed on some people's practices, they wanted to put the negative 7 first, because that's something they just saw first. today with the subtraction, can I switch the 8 and negative 7 around?
No.
No. Subtraction, I have to keep it in that right order. So I'm going to do 8 first minus negative 7. I need to make sure I have that minus and that negative in there at the same time. If you want to, you can put parentheses around that. Some people I already heard switched it. They saw a minus a negative, so they knew it was going to be a positive. We're going to add it. Okay, this is why I really like Desmos. Those of you that haven't had me before. Desmos is really nice. It's on your computer. Okay, what's really nice is you can see it. So you can see 8 minus negative 7. And you can see that you put in those two negatives there. When you do it just on your phone calculator and it disappears, sometimes you're like, I don't know if it did it right. This I can see, yep, that's exactly what I wanted. My answer is 15. I am an ad for Desmos. They pay me. I'm just kidding. They don't. I wish they did. All right. So we want our answer to be written in standard form, meaning we want to start with that highest exponent. So what's our highest exponent, our biggest exponent? Good, negative 10 n to the third power. And then what? Good. We could do, I heard a minus 4n to the second power. How else could we write that? We did the minus. How else could we do the minus? Plus negative, right? Either way, it's the same. I'm going to just do it with a plus today. If you want to do a minus, that's fine. It's the same answer. And then last is our constant, 15. Perfect. Crushed it. All right, we're going to step it up a notch. We're kind of going from like a medium problem to like a harder problem. We skipped them today. Is that okay? This was our medium problem. You feeling all right? Yeah? All right, number 2. This one's kind of a lot, so be ready to write it down as we go. Otherwise, we'll take some time to make sure you have it copied correctly in just a moment. All right, number 2, we're going to do a binomial minus a trinomial plus a binomial. Whoa. Insane. So we'll start off with that first one. We have negative 8 x to the 5th power plus 4x to the 4th power. So that's our first binomial. Minus, now we're going to subtract this whole trinomial. So that's really saying that we're not just minusing this first part, we have to minus all the parts in this trinomial. So we're going to do minus a negative 4x squared plus 3x to the 4th power minus 2x to the 3rd power. Okay, plus a binomial. Exactly, so much. Parenthesis, negative 3x to the 2nd power plus 7x to the 4th power. Alright, so double check that you have that all written down. This time if you're using colors, we'll need 4 colors. If you're not using colors, then you don't have to worry about that, I guess. Alright, so we had negative 8x to the 5th power plus 4x to the 4th power. That's the first binomial, so in parentheses. Minus, and then a trinomial, so parentheses, negative 4x to the 2nd power plus 3x to the 4th power minus 2x to the 3rd power. Parentheses. Okay. Plus, and then the binomial, negative 3x to the 2nd power plus 7x to the 4th power. Got it written down? Yeah? We're good? Alright, what are we going to start with? What is our highest exponent as far as when we organize? We might want to start with that highest one. X to the what? 5th power is the highest one we have. So we're going to start with x to the 5th power. I'm going to do that in pink. Because pink doesn't show up very well. So start with that one. All right, where do we have an x to the fourth power, or x to the fifth power, sorry. Good, so we have one in the first polynomial. Do we have one in the second polynomial? Nope, what about the third polynomial? No. So on this one, we are going to use zeros as placeholders. So I have negative 8 x to the fifth power minus, now there was none here. Who remembers what number do we use for none? 0. Okay, but then after that one, we have a plus. So plus 0. Now when zeros come after the number, we don't need to change that number. It's just negative 8 minus 0 plus 0 would be negative 8. Yep. So it stays negative 8 x to the fifth power. All right, after x to the fifth, we have x to the fourth. Do we have any x to the fourths?
Yeah.
Yep, so we need to include that one. I'm going to do that one in yellow. All right, do I have any x to the fourth in the first polynomial?
Yeah.
Yep, I have a 4x to the fourth. Any x to the fourth in the second one?
Yep.
And in the last one?
Yep.
Yep, that's 7. So again, we're going to be really careful about how we write that down, making sure we're using these minuses and the pluses where they come into play. So we'll start with that 4x to the fourth power minus, what was in our second polynomial? 3x to the fourth power plus 7x to the fourth power. Okay, and again, when we do that, we can use a calculator. That's totally fine. If you're going to, I would really recommend Desmos because you can see what you're typing in. 4 minus 3 plus 7. What parts are we actually adding and subtracting? What do we call that 4, 3, and 7? Coefficients, yeah. And we can do it in our head. What's 4 minus 3? 1. 1 plus 7? 8. Beautiful. So 8x to the fourth power. All right, after x to the fourth, this is where we're going to have to really be careful, is we're going to do our x to the third power. I'm going to circle my x to the third powers in green. So do I have any x to the thirds in the first one? Nope. Second one? And in the last one? Nope. So this might seem goofy, but we're going to put in those zeros. Okay, so in that first polynomial, did we have an x to the third? No. So we're going to do 0 minus, because there's our minus. And then what's in the second polynomial? Negative 2x to the third plus, did we have any in the last one? Nope, so 0 there. So it's really important we're using 0 as placeholders today because the 0 minus negative 2x to the third is going to change that negative 2x to the third. Some people, they're like, oh, it's just that, so that's my answer. But when we do 0 minus, it switches it up. So what's 0 minus a negative 2? A positive 2, yeah. So 0 minus negative 2 plus 0, we're going to end up with positive 2. All right, do we have any x squareds? Yeah. Yep, that's actually all that we have is x squareds. We have no constants or anything after that. So I'm going to underline those with brown. All right, so as I take a look, here's an x squared, and there's an x squared. So again, we're going to be really careful with how we write that. We're going to go left to right, because that's how adding works and subtracting. Do I have any x squareds in that first polynomial? No. So it's going to be 0 minus negative 4x squared. So it's like there's two negatives there. If you want to use parentheses, you can. You don't have to. But it might help you see that negative different. Okay, what comes after that polynomial? What operation? A plus. So that plus was there. Negative 3x squared. So many things happening. So we're going to start with 0 minus negative 4. So if I start at 0 and I go opposite of the negative 4, which direction am I actually going? Positive 4. So 0 minus negative 4. Yep, I got that positive 4. And then plus negative 3 would tell me to go backwards 3. We end up at 1. So 1x squared. Alright, then for our answers, our last step is to take these answers here. If you want to circle them lightly, you could. And we need to write that in standard form. So we're going to start with our highest and go to our lowest. Our highest what, though? Exponent. Yep, highest exponent. Which is why we organized it the way we did. Some people, they don't like to do it in order like this. They just do whatever they see first. That's fine, but then you have to reorganize it at the end. I like to organize it as I go, so that way I don't have to worry about organizing it at the end. So negative 8x to the 5th power plus 8x to the 4th power plus 2x to the 3rd power plus, and now I do have one little option here that so far everything has been positive, so I've had to use pluses, no options for minuses. What's my option with 1x squared, though?
You can just call it s squared.
Good. Just x squared, or you can keep the 1 in there. It's your choice. Whatever makes you the happiest little mathematician. You do you. Alright, and that's it for notes today. So today you kind of have a lot of time to work, which is great.